try not to worry about a race. Certainly going into the biggest one of my career is a concern, mostly because I don't know the track. But to actually worry about the outcome is so mentally draining or energy consuming that my purpose in floating around Paris for a couple of days is to try and just get into neutral. What makes Le Mans the greatest event in the world is the twice around the clock. It's hard to explain to anybody what that's like. It is a very, very long day. It becomes even longer when you have to anticipate the strains on the engine and the cars to achieve a finish after 24 hours. That is the real crunch of Le Mans.
On termine le circuit du pesage de Lola.
Alan Moffat, winner of just about every major saloon car race in Australia, is about to embark on an international career. At the age of 39, he's starting his career at a stage when most racing drivers are thinking of quitting. He's joined the team of Americans Dick Barber and Bob Garretson, and he's starting at the top, at Le Mans.
You're not planning to change this engine before the race? Well, that's great, because it's always
For Moffat,
starting behind the
it's like beginning all over again, with the car, the team, and the track all unknown quantities. His Porsche 935 Turbo is capable of 230 miles an hour.
That's what traffic's around, something like that, but don't take it above that. During the race, we'll run it to about 7,600, shifting to
76, that high, really?
You'll find that you don't have to go that far, but you can't go up there.
Just whatever feels right.
Whatever feels right. And I think the main essence is, just to be smooth and consistent, and we don't have to break any lap records. It's going to be an overall
There'll be a
average.
few others out there that'll try and do that.
For the racing teams, the first harrowing experience in fact takes place 5 days before the race begins. Each car has to pass stringent safety and mechanical checks before it's allowed on the track. The tests are carried out in the large municipal car park in the center of Le Mans itself.
Attendez 2 secondes parce que ça discute là. On sera obligé de l'essayer tout le circuit sur la piste. Bon. Non, mais on est d'accord, c'est bon.
D'accord.
All the cars which will be allowed to enter in the practice sessions are inspected. We make sure they are okay concerning safety and so on. They are weighed. We look at the capacity of the fuel tanks because they must not exceed 120 liters. We make sure that the lights are okay. In fact, it's a complete inspection to make sure that the car are complying with the FIA regulations and with our own regulations.
With nearly 100 cars entered this year, the technical inspection, or scrutineering, takes nearly 2 days of detailed examinations. There are few disappointments. Most teams are totally professional. Despite the large contingent of international teams, few people have difficulty in making themselves understood. Motorsport, it seems, has a language all its own.
Looking for the tow hook, the pull?
C'est pareil, oui. Oui, il y a ça ici.
Bon alors, lumière.
Turn on the light, turn the key on, pull the lights. Oh, bigger, okay.
La marche derrière. Oh, attention derrière.
Stand out of the way, you want to look at the lights?
Vous avez vu pour la plaque de chrono, là?
Moffat's mentor, Dick Barber, is looking after 3 cars in this year's race, all Porsche 935s, as well as a stable of 9 international drivers.
I'm glad to be through tech. you know, it's very difficult because all opponents are very serious about Le Mans, and there's so many little things, and the scrutineering is very important because if you have any problems here, it can ruin the whole chances for your race.
You're not allowed to wear. You're not allowed to wear that.
No, I know. No, I didn't expect even to be here today. We were just traveling. I just thought we'd go to the hotel. It was nice weather.
We're here to do one thing, and that's win, nothing else. And we'll either be in the victory circle or there'll be engines spread all over the earth, I'm afraid.
With scrutineering over, the drivers are given their first opportunity to look at the track, this time as civilians.
On Saturday afternoon, the greatest endurance race in the world will start. And let's hope it's not in the rain. The old Le Mans start is over. The drivers no longer run across the track into their cars. It's a flying start. And in today's supersonic F-111 type race cars, everybody is well and truly strapped in and ready to go when the flag goes down. A flying start. The opening lap, of course, can be very interesting, can also be very dangerous, everybody jockeying for position. But in a 24-hour race, most of the drivers have enough sense to realize that they're not going to win the race on the opening lap. This is probably one of the more exciting parts of the track. A straightaway which is over 3.5 miles long, reach a top speed of 230 miles an hour. Driver here does have to take a chance to lift his neck, lift his helmet back, take a deep breath, recharge his batteries a little bit, glance down at the dashboard, check pressures, temperatures. And I suppose if you can think about relaxing in a race car, this is where you can do it to a degree. And from 230 miles an hour, we pull this beautiful race car up in just on 400 yards. It's a dead right-hand corner, a first gear corner. Fortunately, have a nice escape road if anything did go wrong. A quick snap here. These are delightful little parts of the circuit. Again, 50-yard marker and the famous Arnage corner, which again is a very tight, extra tight right-hander, would be a first gear corner. This is one of the most unique parts of the track to me, the most different. It's a double chicane. I've never seen anything like it in my life. A left, a tight right, and just when you think you're ready to hit the hay again, another one which takes you up onto the fabulous grandstand straight. This is the sight every driver would welcome in a 4-minute lap, a little touch with reality. The pits are absolutely jammed, the pit lanes are jammed, grandstands are full. It'd be tremendously exciting to drive up through here.
The date is June the 11th, and the Le Mans 24-hour race is still 3 days off. Alan Moffat, like all the other drivers, has begun his final build-up to what most people consider as the greatest endurance test on the international motor racing calendar. 24 hours non-stop, at an average speed bordering on 200 miles an hour. The infamous European summer again lives up to its name. Day one of practice, day one of rain.
Something real cheap, you know. It's just that Harmon doesn't want to drive
Don't blame
him. Come on, Brian. Come on. Well, you two are extreme drivers.
Oh, yeah.
Does he have to drive the car in the race?
Not necessarily.
Rain or no rain, the drivers have no option but to go out on the track to make the most of what limited time they have to practice. Alan Moffat is no exception. It's a moment of truth. His first real drive at Le Mans. In a car faster than anything he's driven before. and driving on a rain-soaked track.
Okay, pull the straps down.
How's that?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. I'll just start the motor while I get the, put my gloves on.
Okay. Is this the lap belt tight or what?
That's okay, it's tight enough. You turn the key for me. You want to start her there?
You want me to start it?
You go ahead.
Okay. Got the throttle?
Yep. We don't need any luck, it's your preparation. We'll do the rest.
You understand the lights? You want to run with any lights?
All right, okay.
Okay.
About 6,000 for about the first 15 minutes or so. How is it? Fine, except it's slippery as hell. Yeah. I mean, you get on the power and the rear end wants to go out, you come into the turn, the thing wants to plow.
It's the same thing. It's sort of a damp track, and
Well, you can see the oil, you can see the rainbows across the track all over the place, and the oil's sitting on it.
The first day of practice is considered unofficial, but the drivers still have to turn in good times to hopefully improve on the next day during official practice. A good time on this 14-kilometer circuit is around 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Moffat returns to the pits after 3 laps, obviously at odds with both the car and the conditions. His best lap time so far is a poor 5.5 minutes.
Well, I really want to, I just came in because I thought you might have wanted some time.
Take some more time.
It's raining all over the place and I can't do anything, so if you don't mind, I know I'm not fast, but it's raining. The clothes on, then it's dry, it's wet, so I'm just taking it easy at about 5.5.
No problem.
Well, I'd like to stay out, but I thought you'd want a bit of time. Eh?
The weather looks like it's getting better.
It is getting better, but then it gets better and the bloody rains again.
Just hold on and learn what you're doing.
Okay.
We're going to put a new set of tires on, so it'll really be skittery for the first couple laps.
The unofficial and official practice days seem to merge into one. The weather conditions are exactly the same. Moffat must now improve his speed or relegate his car to the rear of the starting line.
Any car with all that horsepower, with 700 horsepower, has to be very, very difficult to drive in the rain. It has a lot dip on the 935 Porsche with all that horsepower. So when you turn into a corner, it just pushes the front, and then suddenly the back cracks around, and the wheels are all spinning, and you're diving up the road in a series of great slides. Whereas with my car, it's only got 330 horsepower. And of course, I turn in the corner and I can actually set the car up, balance it, and slide it through.
Well, obviously, Ix and Reinhold Jost in the 936 at Martini car, they must be the opposition. And there are a lot of good 935s, but, you know, you can have the super preparation, you can drive well, you can do everything well, and then you've just got to have luck. And you can't win a race like this without a lot of luck. It's like Bathurst, you've got to have a lot of luck to win.
The boost is exactly 2.5, 2.25.
Another moment of truth. Moffat knew he had to have cut at least a minute off his previous best lap times.
Well, if I keep going, I might even be able to call myself a race driver.
You know what your best time was?
Give me a 407, I don't know. I got in traffic. I'd say I could do a 4 if I had to. If Rock was out here, give me
3:58.7.
Well, then I am a race driver. I did get one good run. Well, that doesn't make me happy yet.
Friday, the day before race day. Over the next 2 days, more than 250,000 people will invade this industrious country town about 200 kilometers southwest of Paris. Friday is also the rest day for the drivers. their last chance to relax before the grueling 24-hour marathon.
So fast that the more you know it and the more you get the car set up, the time just comes. I mean, you probably think to yourself now, there's a second or there's a second here, but you get out on that track and after an hour or after 2 hours, you'll probably be going 5 seconds quicker, 6 seconds quicker. I mean, it's so fast here, isn't it? Those corners are so quick.
I hadn't noticed, mate.
You haven't.
He came in talking to himself the first time he took a drive in the turn. We said, my goodness, this is a real race car.
Yeah, right, is it?
Eyes on store.
I remember last year when I had been asleep for an hour and it went from darkness to daylight, and I got in for my driving turn, and I'm on my first lap, and the pit sign at the signal pit said, "Good morning, Dick." Almost crashed the car and lost concentration because I was laughing so hard.
If Ix's car goes without problems, then he'll be difficult to beat. But having said that, I think we're going to run a little faster than most of the 935s. I think if we just hang back with all the 935s, then it's going to be just a matter of luck, isn't it, who wins?
But we got a flying start this time. Is that going to... How much of a flyer is that compared to...
In fact, it really is a flyer, because the pace car, it's normally a 928 Porsche, and he'll probably do 150 miles an hour down the Mulsanne, and everybody will just be going like hell to catch him up. So by the time he gets round to the pits, the field's well strung out, and by the time you come through the chicane before the pit, it's just flat out from there.
Well, when I was at Daytona, I had 6 guys pass me down the back straight, and I thought they wouldn't, obviously they'd call it a false start. Well, that was baloney. That was on from the word go.
They watched the first 3 or 4 cars, and that's it.
So it's very unlikely that it would be a second time round on the pace car?
Never.
Never.
Never. So if you can steal a couple of places, you go ahead and steal a couple of places. I won't tell.
As long as it's not past pits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know.
Race day arrives with all the razzmatazz of an American political convention. Yet it's typically French. The crowds are here to see their champions, and they'll not be disappointed. With names such as Jackie Ickx, John Fitzpatrick, Jean Rondeau, Rolf Stommelen, Danny Ongais, and Brian Redman.
No matter how much time there is before a race, you always find work to do and keep busy, and that's what they're doing right now, just checking everything one more time and making sure it's perfect. This crew of people, even though there's only 4 people that are paid mechanics as, on the team, the group of about 18 people that are here, we've been working together for about 6 years on various race cars, and some of us go back even longer than that, so the teamwork, everybody knows what everybody else is going to do. We are a little sorry that the French team dropped one of their drivers, take us off the pole, but the pole doesn't mean much in this race because it's quite a long race, Won't start really racing for about 12 hours. The main thing is to get through the first half, and then you start worrying about it after that.
Ce qui ne permet pas évidemment de donner une mesure exacte de la performance d'un pilote par rapport à un autre, ce qui fait qu'on peut préciser quand même dans certaines disciplines quel est le pilote qui était le plus rapide. Et sur la première place,
to win Le Mans is, a great victory, and a race like this, it's so long that so many other things come into play besides just a driver's ability. That it's a whole. When somebody wins here, it's not strictly a driver victory; it's a victory for the car and for the mechanics and everything. Because I'll tell you, to keep a car going 24 hours at high speed is really almost impossible.
Time begins to go quickly, and with less than 2 hours before the start, the Barber team is prepared for a final briefing from their chief mechanic, Jerry
Take any
Woods.
parts off the car, they have to go back in the car also. There's a belt guard for where the injection belt goes. If you take that off, there's 2 wing nuts, bolts. Take that, put it in the car, kind of do one step at a time, okay? And then once the car gets back to the pits, we'll put the car back together the way it's supposed to be properly, okay? But the main thing is always to get the car back to the pits.
It was inevitable. It has rained at exactly the same time each day for the past 4 days.
Bless our great crew for being so patient and diligent and getting the cars to operate for 24 hours. And bless Dick Barber for the spirit that is the best in auto racing in the world.
With a final prayer, the teams begin to move into position on the grid. The pole position is taken by the Pescarolo Le Poix after recording the fastest combined lap time during practice of 3 minutes 47.9 seconds. In number 2 position is Dick Barber's own Porsche, car number 70, with a time of 3 minutes 48.4 seconds. Behind them, on the second row, Jackie Ickx in a Martini Porsche and Japanese driver Tetsu Ikuzawa in a Kramer Porsche. And behind them, the Cadenet and Rondeau. The second Barber team Porsche, driven by Garretson, Moffat and Rahal, is on row 7.
I think it's about what we will do.
I tell you because I don't want to race you the first few laps, you know. There's no point.
In a rare candid moment, the two front runners, Fitzpatrick and Pescarolo, take time out to discuss tactics.
Yes?
Yeah.
And you, it was all right? So you are used to the car in the wet?
Yeah, I did a lot of driving.
Yeah.
It's quite good because it's heavy in the wet.
Yes.
Hello, Martino. Va bene?
Oh, you don't know? Good?
Yeah, I think so. I hope.
As the warm-up lap for the flying start unfolds, it quickly becomes clear that the weather is to play an important part in the 1980 Le Mans.
la voiture numéro 53.
Coming in?
Yeah. Sounds like that he's not pushing it very hard. Just, you know.
After 9 laps, John Fitzpatrick, lead driver for the Barber car, returns to the pits for more fuel. The tank holds enough for about 10 laps.
No! No! Don't worry about the pressure, it's the angle of the straight!
Next in is Bobby Rahal, who hands over car 71 to Alan Moffat for his first taste of the 24-hour classic.
Hey, somebody, radio over there? Tom, don't worry about the radio. Clean this window and that mirror.
It was okay for the first few laps. I was leading and there was no spray from the other car, so I could see where I was going. But then, as soon as I started to overtake slow cars, you get the spray. And you can't really see how far they are in front of you, and on the straight you come close to running in the back of them. And then the rain came down really heavy. And in some places you just couldn't steer. You'd have to do 5-10 miles an hour. You just could not steer the car. There was so much water. And the problem was, every lap it was different. One lap it'd be one corner, and then the rain would move on to the next corner. It's such a big circuit that it's inconsistent. But it seems to be drying now.
Tires. He's brought the car from 13th to 12th.
Yeah, tell the bastards on that are giving me the time to give me a proper time, like 4:01 or whatever it is.
Okay,
And were my times all right?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
Bobby, shall we...
Brand new tires now. From me.
Bobby, shall we pull this back now, do you think?
Whatever you feel like the car's handling. Don't care too much, go ahead. Press down on the button.
It's not going to rain tire. It's just going to lose air slowly, so if he'd have stayed out there, let's say, the full hour,
Then they be able to feel this?
he should have.
Yeah.
Looking this and sending this doesn't signal. There's a mirror loose somewhere inside, the interior mirror. Oh. Hey, the interior mirror somewhere in the car.
In the evening sunshine, Moffat ends his first 2-hour stint at the wheel, with the car now in 11th position. The Yost X Porsche has moved into the lead.
The sun is buoyant, Bob. Yeah. Tight enough? Behind every Arab, with all due respect, on the track. Damn Ferrari. I just couldn't get by him. I'm the only Arab here. Once we got going, it wasn't as terrifying as I thought it would be. And it's all just in slow motion. When you get going, and forget about the speeds. Forget about what could happen through the kink on Mulsanne, and you just come up on the traffic and weave by them. Sometimes you don't get by them. There was a couple of Ferraris there I couldn't get by, and raining like hell here all week, and now the worst problem is the sun in your eye.
Midnight on Saturday night. Moffat finishes his second stint and hands over to Bob Garretson. The Porsche is now lying fifth. The Barber Fitzpatrick Redmond car has taken the lead. The third Porsche in the team was forced out of the race several hours earlier following a minor accident.
Watch the second gear change down. I think the synchro might be hurt a bit.
Okay.
It might be my style, but I got a couple of grinds in second.
Okay.
I went out of, what's the end of the straight?
Mulsanne.
Mulsanne, and you know the fast right-hander. Just as I arrived there, there's a guy on the inside, dropped. No lights, no flashing lights. And it just reminded me very quickly how you can lose a race here.
Yeah, you can lose a lot more than the race.
Yeah, exactly.
Moffat's foreboding of problems comes true. At exactly 1:45 on Sunday morning, car 71 breaks down.
After all year long, the anticipation, the pressure, the hassle to get it all together and bring an entire crew here. It's like losing your baby, you know. When I saw the car come in and I heard the engine, I immediately knew it, and my heart went to my stomach.
For Moffat, it's a bitter blow. His hopes of a first-up win at Le Mans shattered.
The team claimed the last time they saw something like this happen was low-octane fuel gets to the pistons or the head gaskets and knocks them out. The car was going fine. It's one of those things you just can't be sure of. I'm happy about one thing. It's still a one piece, and at $40,000 a throw, they'll be able to save it. I know how hard the team had worked. It was disappointed for them. And at the same time, I was somewhat relieved not to have to get back into it. The pluses are to have been to have participated in the greatest event in the world, the greatest event in my career, and with some very nice people.
The guys in the car 71, especially Alan, it was his first time in a 935 turbo, to come into Le Mans and do as well and consistent as they did. It was incredible. I'm really proud of him, and I'm hoping he's going to drive on a permanent basis with our team because good drivers that are easy on equipment are hard to find, and he's tops in my book.
The entire Barber team's efforts are now channeled into keeping car 70 on the road and in a winning position. But there are problems here too. Car 70's motor has developed a mysterious miss. The car has dropped to third position behind Rondeau and Ickx. After a quick inspection, it's decided to press on and hope the miss clears up on its own. As the morning wears on, it becomes more and more obvious that the miss in car 70 is not going to clear up by itself, that there is something radically wrong, and the rain is only adding to the problems.
It's foggy. All right. How wet is it? All the way around?
No, that's the trouble. It's as slippery as...
Mind you, you're pulling out 20 seconds on the lap of the fourth man, so you did the right thing.
It's the right thing, yeah. It's not wet, it's sprinkling. Like it was here. Yeah. But it was like that down the Mulsanne. Now the Mulsanne is dry. Yeah. Then it was like that in the new section. Now that's dry.
You're obviously better off. He changed to wet. It's still the same.
The mist was definitely getting progressively worse. Yeah. Can't they just change a couple of plugs?
It has now developed into a matter of trial and error. Another few adjustments, another few circuits around the track. With 3 hours to go, the problem has become critical. The car has lost 100 miles an hour in speed, is firing on only 4 or 5 cylinders, and has developed a bad oil leak.
Two of them to me. Looks like 2 cylinders.
It will run like this. Yeah.
qui est à 22
I mean, I can pull the plug wires.
7e.
You can pull the
La
plug
Porsche numéro
wires or
4 de
something like that.
Shorty, qui est à 22 tours également.
Oh, they will.
En 8e position.
Several pits away, the Rondo Le Point is becoming the center of attention as the crowd sense that it's firming as the favorite to win the race. At this stage, it's leading the field, 4 laps ahead of the Yost X Martini Porsche.
Une fluidité sur la piste de décélération. Je le fais arrêter devant.
So now all you can do is hope that John Paul breaks down. But I bet they're running a 1-1 boost or something like that now and just going for it. Look, we got to do that. We got to gamble that he keeps motoring on, because if we stop, we're dead. Right. So we've got to gamble.
It was now up to Jerry Woods to get the car back on the track long enough to finish the race. If the Porsche kept going, it could still finish 5th and gain enough points to keep the Barber team ahead in its class on the World Sports Car Championship.
Ja, das geht Das kommt in den Rücklauf rein. Ja. Da der Rücklaufschlauch drauf.
The race now develops into a battle between the Rondo Jossot and the Yost X teams, with X slowly whittling away the 3-lap lead held by Jossot. Well back in 3rd place is car 17, a Belga 379B, with car 5 for the SO team 4th. After 45 minutes in the pits, Woods finally gets car 70 going again. The car is now minus 1 cylinder and its turbocharger. X, in car 9, is only 2 laps behind Le Point. Then again, the inevitable, right on cue. Jossot immediately brings the Le Point in for rain tires. X gambles and stays out on slicks. But the Le Point team is too quick, and the weather remains too inclement for X to gain any advantage.
Tour plus rapide, piste plus faible.
The end is almost an anticlimax, but not for long. The patriotic French crowd soon lets it be known that a French team has won this year's Le Mans. No amount of gendarmes could keep the crowd back. Brian Redman managed to keep the Barber car going and finish 5th, retaining the hold on the World Sports Car Championship.
Stay with the car. Good on you, Brian. Well, thanks, Oh, keep on. With easy, mate. Thank you, Brian. It isn't what we came for, but it was better to win. I keep thinking one day I'll just win this goddamn thing.
It can be possible to win in this little car. You know, that car, if it hadn't have had the crash and the actual stop for 40 minutes in the beginning.
With the race over, it's time to celebrate. The winners for winning. The losers for just completing one of the world's toughest endurance tests for man and machine. the Le Mans 24-hour classic.